Today I'm going to show you a trick on how to do a hot tranny fluid change on a 2-stroke. So if you want to do a hot oil change on a 4-stroke, it's really super easy because the same oil that lubricates the crankcase and your crankshaft bearings is the same oil that lubricates the transmission. So all you got to do is fire it up, let it get nice and hot, and then you're ready to change the oil and the oil filter. On a 2-stroke, you can't do that because the crankcase lubrication actually comes from premix oil that you mix into the gasoline. There's no oil sump, there's no oil pump, there's no oil filters. It all comes from the gas as it gets injected into the crankcase. So you're kind of stuck. You can't just fire up the engine, let it get nice and hot and idle, and then drain your transmission fluid. Transmission fluid is completely separate. So I got a little tip, a little trick on how to get the tranny fluid nice and hot. So stay tuned for that.
You want to get that tranny fluid hot? You got to ride the bike, man.
So I'm going to do a voiceover on this because the noise at the track is just too much to try and overcome in real time. So anytime I want to do a hot tranny fluid change, I bring the drip pan or the drain pan with me to the track, and I will just throw the bike up against the side of the truck. A couple tips here: if you have wore off the ends of your grip, use a rag so that you don't scratch the vehicle that you're putting the bike up against. And second tip, put your bike in gear so it doesn't roll away while you are trying to drain the transmission fluid. Another tip, since this is a hot change, the bike is going to be pretty warm to the touch, so I would recommend using a glove, either an old motocross glove that you kept around for things like doing maintenance, changing air filters, those kinds of things. That'll work just fine. Because you're doing this at the track, it's probably very likely that you're not on perfectly level ground, so make sure that you move the bike around, compress the rear shock a little bit, just to try and get every little bit of that hot tranny fluid out of the engine. Once you're done draining everything and you put the drain bolt back in, put the bike back on the stand, try and make sure that you can get it as level as possible. At this point, I would ask that you completely ignore the fact that I'm using Honda tranny fluid in my Yamaha. The reason why I actually use the Honda fluid is because it comes in this nice, easy to pour spout. I don't need to use a funnel, and it really just makes it easy, to be honest. On the YZ250, there is a check level bolt, and so you want to remove the bolt and continue to fill the transmission with the fresh new fluid until you see the tranny fluid coming out of the drain bolt. Other bikes will have sight windows, so it really just kind of depends on the manufacturer and model of the motorcycle that you're working on. I would also recommend that once you think it's full, you go ahead and just kind of tool around the parking lot a little bit and run it through some of the gears, and then bring it back, put it back on the stand, and recheck the oil level. And sometimes you'll find that you need to add just a little bit more and top it back off. So those are my tips for doing a hot transmission fluid change on a 252 stroke. Because of the separation between the transmission and the crankcase lubrication coming from pre-mix that you mix in the gasoline. If you really want to do a good job, you really have to get it nice and hot, and the only way to do that is to load the transmission with the weight of a rider on the bike. And you know, you might be able to do this in your neighborhood if you have forgiving neighbors and enough room that you can kind of run it through the gears a few times. That might be just enough. For me, unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. I would really upset quite a few people if I tried to warm up my transmission fluid at my house. So I will continue to do this at the track until the home situation changes. And that will bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and subscribe if you haven't. Give me the big thumbs up and share the video if you don't mind doing that. I appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. So till the next time, keep the rubber side down. We'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.
Look at that line. That's what I'm talking about. Got awesome lines. Knows how to flow.